Hey guys, welcome back to Movie Reviews. Today I am reviewing the recently released, at least recently when I recorded this, Shang Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, starring Simu Liu as Shang Chi, Awkwafina as Katie, Ming-Er Zhang as Xu Yang Ling, Fala Shang as Ling Li, and Tony Leung as Xu Wenwu. Forgive me if I have my little script here just to have this right, because there's quite a bit that happens in this movie, and as well I want to make sure I pronounce the names correctly. If I probably will mess up some of them, so don't hate me if I do. Please don't unsubscribe. My pronunciation is not good. So anyway, the movie starts off with thousands of years ago, Xu Wenwu, he finds the Ten Rings, which give its user immortality. The ten rings, which give the user immortality and extreme strength, and he uses them to create an organization known as the Ten Rings, in which they secretly do things they secretly just, do things in society and change the way things go. They're kind of like, they remind me a lot of the League of Shadows from the Dark Knights trilogy. Anyway, so then for thousands of years he lives and continues to do these, but in 1996, Wenwu, he searches for a mystical land known as Ta Lo. It's basically said to be a magical land that will increase his strength and has extreme just knowledge and power. And he goes to this village entrance and he finds a woman known as Ying Li, and they fight. She's actually able to beat him even while he wields the Ten Rings. And the two of them, they fall in love, but sadly, Ta Lo will not accept Wenwu as one of them because he is so very evil and corrupt. So Ying Li leaves to go with Wenwu. Wenwu, he quits the Ten Rings. He doesn't end the organization. He takes off the Ten Rings. They have two children named Shang Chi and Xia Ling. So then, years later, Shang Chi, back in the present day, after the snap and everyone's back, Shang Chi, he works as a valet. He works as a valet with his friend Katie, who is played by Awkwafina. And both of them, despite them being very very smart and great, they choose to not really live to their full potential just because they just want to enjoy life. They don't, their friends really just don't understand why, they're so smart, they're so great, why don't they truly do anything with their capabilities, yet they don't do anything. They just choose to just have fun and enjoy life. And especially after this, and literally one of their friends, one of the lines is, one of their friends, they literally say, we live in a world where we could easily just be snapped away, and not exist. So, a lot of people, they kind of that's why they kind of truly take things seriously. But they don't. So, meanwhile, one day as they are on their way to work, they get attacked by the Ten Rings, and Shang-Chi, he's able to, his alias, he goes by the alias Sean. Shang-Chi, he's able to hold off these mercenaries, these bad guys, he's able to defeat them, but not before they steal a pendant that his mother gave him before he left. But anonymously, he receives a letter from what he believes to be his sister, who in Macau, China. So him along with Katie, they decide to, fearing that Xia Ling, she's in danger, they decide to go to help her to fend off the Ten Rings. And on the way there, Shang-Chi, he reveals to Katie that, his actual identity, that his name's not Sean, that his name is Shang-Chi, and that he's a member that his family runs the Ten Rings, an organization, and he also reveals his past, that after years of raising a family, his father, although still, doing a lot of bad things, he still attracted a lot of bad people. He continued the Ten Rings even though he didn't have the Ten Rings on anymore, and that one day a gang came by, and as revenge for what Wenwu did to them, they killed his wife, they killed Yingli, and right in front of Shang-Chi. And immediately after that, Wenwu put the Ten Rings back on and trained Shang-Chi to eventually take his place. And one day, they finally find the person that is responsible for the death of his mother. Wenwu sends Shang-Chi after him, but Shang-Chi, very similar to Batman Begins, does not want to kill this person. He doesn't succeed. He actually doesn't even try, and he just runs away, goes to the United States, and takes up the name Sean, and yeah, the rest is kind of history. So now the two make it to Macau. They find Xia Ling, and she has set up her own underground fighting arena, since her father would not let her fight, since he feels since he just does not, he never would let her fight or train to fight in the Ten Rings. So she set up her own underground fighting arena in Macau, and as Shang-Chi and Katie get there, they see Wong the Sorcerer fighting the Abomination. So yeah, Abomination still exists, he's just not important anymore after all this time, since the first Hulk movie way back in 2008. So yeah, Wong of course easily beats Abomination. But anyway, after after a brief fight with Shang-Chi versus Xia Ling, she beats him easily, but the Ten Rings, they completely invade, and it turns out that the letter that he got, it was actually sent by his father in order to truly find Xia Ling, and then the Ten Rings immediately attack them, and while they don't kill them, they are unable to beat Shang-Chi, Katie, and Xia Ling. They are able to take her pendant, and Dad arrives, and their father arrives, and they are all taken to the Ten Rings compound. And Wenwu, he explains why he's hunting them down, and why he wants their pendants. Using their pendants, he's able to reveal a secret map to Ta Lo, because he wants to try to get to Ta Lo, because since he is still very grief-stricken about his wife, he feels that it's very much his fault, and he's very depressed. He is very sad that his wife is killed because of him, but he says he's able to hear her voice. He thinks she's still alive, and that she's being imprisoned in Ta Lo, and that she's calling out to him to free her. So he wants to try to go to Ta Lo, free her, and if the villagers don't give her back, then they'll burn the whole place to the ground and destroy it. Shang-Chi and Xia Ling, they completely think that he's not delusional, but they just don't agree with it. So Wenwu, in complete rage, imprisons them, and in the Ten Rings prison, they find Trevor Slattery, if you remember the Mandarin from Iron Man 3, if you remember him, and who after being imprisoned in the United States for what he did, posing as a terrorist, the Ten Rings, they broke him out and they wanted to kill him, but because of his acting, Wenwu decided to spare him, and he's basically the Ten Rings jester. Yeah. And along with a creature that he's nicknamed Morris, they all decide to together go to Ta Lo to try to warn Ta Lo that the Ten Rings are coming, and that they need to prepare and be ready. So all of them set out, all five of them, Shang-Chi, Xia Ling, Trevor, Katie and Morris, they all set out in a car. They're able to successfully get there, but they're all successfully able to get there. At first, they're not really they aren't welcomed, but one person stands up for them. Her name is Ying Nan. She is actually their mother's sister, so she's their aunt, and she allows them to explain themselves. They explain that the Ten Rings are coming, and they all need to be ready. And the villagers of Ta Lo, they actually reveal that while they are not holding Ying Li hostage, or her spirit hostage, there is something being imprisoned there. It is basically known as a soul-consuming monster that thousands of years ago, this soul-consuming monster known as the Dweller in Darkness tried to take over the entire world, or destroy the entire world, kill all of humanity. But them, along with a dragon known as their protector, was able to imprison it in a wall, or in a mountain, and that the Dweller in the Darkness, while he is imprisoned, he is still much alive, and using the Ten Rings, he is trying to manipulate Wenwu to try to free him, and is posing as Ying Li and using his emotions against him. So the villagers all prepare, along with Shang Chi, Xia Ling, and Katie, all prepare an offensive against the Ten Rings to try to defend the village. And using dragon scale weapons and clothing and / armor. So the Ten Rings arrive and they all fight. But sadly, despite Ta Lo's despite the epic battle, Wenwu is able to break open the mountain that's holding the Dwellers of the Darkness. Some of the creatures, they begin to get out, and immediately seeing that they were kind of that, and the Ten Rings, after immediately seeing that Ying Li, she's not being imprisoned there, they actually decide to help the villagers of Ta Lo fight the creatures. But sadly, the Dweller of the Darkness is also able to get out, and he actually ends up, and after Wenwu and Shang-Chi fight, the Dweller in the Darkness immediately kills Wenwu, and in a great, somewhat sacrifice, he gives the Ten Rings to Shang-Chi.
Is this what you wanted?
And along with the help of the Protector, Katie, and Xia Ling, and the villagers of Ta Lo and the Ten Rings, they are all able to defeat the Dweller in the Darkness and its creatures, and save Ta Lo and the entire rest of the world from this creature. And man, I gotta say, this creature is really kind of scary. It also kind of makes Dormammu look not that scary. But anyway, so after they are able to defeat these creatures, Shang-Chi and Katie, they go back home to San Francisco, and they tell their friends, the epic adventure that they had. Their friends can't believe it. Then, as they're with their friends, they are interrupted by Wong the Sorcerer, who summons them to the Sanctum Sanctorum in New York City. But Doctor Strange is not there because he's kind of busy with helping out Peter Parker, as we all know. So yeah, he calls him out on business, and in a mid-credits scene, Wong he introduces Shang-Chi and Katie to some of the Avengers, to Bruce and to Captain Marvel, or Bruce Banner and Captain Marvel, and they kind of examine the Ten Rings, and they kind of realize that these Ten Rings, they're a lot older than when Wenwu found them about 1,000 years ago. They're way older, and they're sending out some sort of signal somewhere. Where? It could be in outer space, it could be in the multiverse, who knows. But yeah, they're very suspicious things. And they're not like anything that they've ever seen. They're even more different than the Infinity Stones. So they don't really know what these things are. Who knows? Maybe the Eternals will know something about them, since they're 7,000 years old at least. But anyway, and also in an end credit scene, it is revealed that Xialing, she is taken over after her father's death. She is taken over the Ten Rings organization, and whether she is going to use it for evil or good, we have no idea, but we just see that the Ten Rings will return. So yeah, that pretty much wraps up Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. This movie was really good. In my opinion, probably the best solo hero movie since, honestly, Thor Ragnarok and Guardians of the Galaxy 2, when, Asgard was destroyed and, Kurt Russell was a evil planet. Like, this movie was really good. I enjoyed it. The acting was really good. All the actors played their roles really well. They really also, did a really good job for Asian culture. And of all things that was referenced in this movie, Dragon Ball was referenced in this movie. So it really shows that Dragon Ball truly is big, even in the MCU.
I am the hype!
Of all things, it exists in the MCU, and it's just as big as it is here. But yeah, and also just the the fighting, and just the action sequences, the martial arts that was used were really good. You can tell everyone really just practiced what they did really well. And honestly, a lot of people has also been saying that maybe this could be the precursor to possibly having a live-action Dragon Ball movie. Maybe, cross our fingers. But yeah, anyway guys, that's it for Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. So let me actually kind of tell you what the next movie I'm going to be reviewing is. I'm really excited for it, but let me give you some hints. It's about an alien that's come to Earth, but he's kind of somewhat of a parasite, and he really is kind of a jerk. Here's the trailer.
I'm not a crazy man. Are you a vengeful one?
Oh, shit!
Whoa, where you going?
That is a red one!
You need to come out right now.
I will let you eat everybody!
Promise!
I promise! Oh, yeah!
Betty, you feel like home to me. Like family.
Yeah, it is Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage. I'm really excited. I mean, Tom Hardy and Woody Harrelson with Venom and Carnage, that's really going to be fun. I'm really excited to see what they're going to do. I loved the first movie. The first movie was actually one of the first movies I ever reviewed, so I'm really excited for this. Anyway, y'all, if you enjoyed this video, give us a like, consider subscribing if you're not, and share this video out. And also, my grade for Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, I give it a solid A. See you all, a solid A. See you guys in the next episode, in the next video.
It's over.